Hey there, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Brooks. Join me as I sit down and chat with co-hosts, friends, and carefully curated guests and talk about all the things that empower you to become your best and most confident self. So, let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Confident Woman Podcast. So today, I'm excited because we're going to talk about a topic that I think is relatable to everybody, especially me. I feel like I'm the queen of procrastination. But let's be real. We've all been there. And, procrastination can just feel like pulling teeth, that we put it off and we put this project off, or whatever it is we're working on, until the very last minute, delaying everything from start to finish. And that could just feel really, really, really overwhelming. But don't worry, it's not the end all be all, because there's a way to get through it. And I'm hoping in today's episode, I can shed some light on there, because these are some of the tips that I've been learning and things to really just get my butt moving and on not having this time blindness, which is a real deal that I truly do experience. And I'm sure many of you do as well. But it's about just really feeling like we have somebody that can really understand it. Like, procrastination just straight up sucks. And we are going to talk today about some of the strategies to help you overcome procrastination and boost productivity. That's how I'm going about me trying to reprogram and relearn a lot of things, because I've recognized that my procrastination is just really just adding to many of the things that are just frustrating. So first up, let's break down our big tasks into smaller, more manageable ones. And that has been really helpful. I know we talk about SMART goal setting, and obviously the SMART having the acronym specific, measurable, actionable, results, and time oriented. So that's what it stands for. In having set SMART goals allows us to really break down some of that bigger goal. If we look at it from working on a project to chasing a dream, whatever that is, we have to set smaller bite-sized goals to make that more manageable, so that the big vision or big dream, whatever that is you're working on, doesn't feel so I guess monumental, like, oh my goodness, right? And the way you can get started with just building momentum towards completing that bigger goal is just, again, breaking it down bite-sized pieces. Set those deadlines and allow yourself to have some flexibility. So that way, when things do go, a little bit skewed off of our traditional planning, that we've given ourselves some margin and some space to really account for things that just happen. And trust me, those things do happen. Things that we don't expect or plan for can really derail us from whatever it is that we're working towards. So that has been a huge game changer when it comes to creating a sense of urgency and staying on track, because I'm reminded, okay, here's my plan. This is our big vision. Here are my SMART goals. And these are the steps that I need to take today. So that way, again, if you're anything like me and procrastination, it just feels like it sneaks up on you. And that project that needed to get done like a month ago, all of a sudden needs to be done tonight by midnight. Yeah, been there, done that. So secondly, let's talk about distractions. And I think you and I are probably on this boat as well. Listen, distractions come in all shapes and forms. And if we're on our phones and we're trying to do our business or our work or whatever that is, we know those notifications, the little alerts that pop up on our phone, and either we need to clear them or act on them or whatever it is, we get sucked into whatever that app is that we meant to ignore has now become our replacement for the task at hand. So silencing your phones, for me, I'm on Do Not Disturb literally all day, because that way I get to pick and choose which things that I have to get back to, because not everything that comes through your phone is urgent and necessary. It has to be acted upon right away. So silencing your phone, that includes social media, email, phone calls, phone notifications, whatever that is, and put it away like in another room if needed. And sometimes that works for me, where if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and I could just stay laser focused on whatever it is that I'm working on. So finding that quiet space, whether it's your workspace, to your phone being quiet, to maybe leaving your home or your office or wherever you find a place that works best for you, keep going. And if you need some structure, like creating that schedule, that could be a great way to really help you stay on track, right? Because sometimes our schedules can get overwhelmed, or we have to meet up with somebody and we think that our task is going to be, get there quicker because maybe we're working on something like a co-working space. Having structure and making sure you have the intention and sticking to it. And I know that can be hard because we talk about like self-discipline, accounting for the unexpected, to things just happen. And it could pull us right out of our zone and take priority over whatever it is that we were meaning to work on. So we could talk further about that in an episode that we'll be talking about margin setting and giving ourselves that additional space for when the unexpected is expected to happen. It's just part of life. And so moving forward, having those goals, staying, focus on our tasks, minimizing distractions, finding a quiet workspace. And then also at the heart of it, let's practice self-compassion. With self-compassion, we give ourselves that extended grace. We allow ourselves, some leeway and not beat ourselves up if we have a bad day or we found ourselves back at the deadline at midnight and we're like, how did we end up here again? It's, listen, procrastination isn't something you're going to fix overnight. It's about retraining and reprogramming and finding ways that you can incorporate new habits and new patterns into your life. So when we practice our self-compassion, on those days that we have an off day, telling ourselves it's going to be okay, right? Because we've accounted for extra time. We've accounted for those margins. We've accounted for when things, go awry. But we have to learn to really be kind to ourselves. Don't beat ourselves up. There's nothing that guilt and shame could actually accomplish except just diminish our value and negative self-talk creep up. So again, being kind, just give yourself grace. Using that information to really set the tone for the next plan, right? Because it's going to come up again. And this is all part of what it takes to rebuild and retrain for the next time. We're not going to nail it the first time. We're not going to nail it the second time. It's going to take practice. And even for me, like I said, I'm the queen of procrastination. Procrastination will always show up in different formats. So it's not about getting your schoolwork done. It's not about completing a project. It shows up everywhere. And that becomes, to me, I know it's frustrating. I can't imagine how it could feel for those that are being on the receiving end and vice versa, because I'm sure that many of you are also receivers of procrastinators, and you too are procrastinators because things just happen. And if you're not, please share your tips on how you are not ever late or procrastinate on anything, because I think we all need that additional insight and wisdom. So to wrap up, just our quick tips, remembering that overcoming procrastination really is, again, like I said, it's a process, it's practice, and it takes effort. So hoping that a few of these little tidbits and strategies can help improve your productivity, help you achieve your goals, and help you to really just be a lot nicer to yourself. There's nothing good that comes from taking it out on ourselves. We're just delaying the inevitable. And basically when we end up in that self-sabotaging pattern, all we're doing is procrastinating. So who's winning, right? So anyway, if any of this was helpful or you felt that there was an incredible tip that I didn't cover or talk about, shoot me a message. I definitely want to hear from you because I love learning and I know that our community does as well. So if this resonates with you, shoot me a message or come into the Confident Woman community group and partake in the conversations, because that's where all the stuff is happening. And we look forward to seeing you on the inside. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Confident Woman podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Thanks again for listening.